My name is Corey.
And I'm Sharonda.
And this is Until Forever. This is a relationship podcast. We do not claim to be experts, gurus, or anything like that.
No way.
We're just trying to share our journey. We hope that you come along with us on this journey. We hope you enjoy this journey. We hope that you even give us some input and help us out. We always say, come talk to us. We want to hear from you too.
Definitely.
So today, tonight, this morning, this evening, whenever you're listening,
today,
we're going to talk about something. We're going to do something a little different as opposed to how we normally do things. We came across a Instagram post, was it?
Yes. By Ezekiel Ozanwu.
Ozanwu.
And his Instagram title, what is it? Name? Anyway, it's Words by Ezekiel. If you don't know who he is, he's a poet that usually does the Poets in Autumn tour, like with Preston and Jackie Hill Perry and Genetics. So, very good poet. Him and his wife have a show that they do together, and he's pretty popular on Instagram amongst the Christian community. So, he shared 10 reasons good marriages aren't happening. I thought it was a pretty good post. It got a lot of discussion going in the comments section. So, so Corey thought it would be a great idea if we discussed the 10 reasons that Ezekiel shared on his post. So,
okay, well, I'm excited. I want to do this because, well, first of all, because it's something different,
very different,
and
we haven't done this yet,
right? And some of these things, you guys will see, we're not just making stuff up, but other people actually feel the same way that we feel. And again, we're going to reiterate this a bunch probably. We're not experts, and we don't claim to have a perfect marriage. Nowhere close. As a matter of fact, I think the perfect marriage is the unperfect marriage, a marriage that does not claim to be
perfect.
Yeah, and check all the boxes, but something that is a work in progress.
Definitely.
So, I love it. We're going to go through these. We probably won't make it through all of them, but it's going to be a fun journey.
Yeah, definitely check out the entire post on Instagram.
Yeah,
these
follow
are
him.
good.
Did you tell him to follow him?
Words by Ezekiel. If you're not following him, although
follow him, please.
I don't know how you would have never heard of him, but yeah.
Yeah. He needs to shout us out. Matter of fact.
Okay, so number 1 was not enough men and women are willing to submit their desires and lifestyles under the authority of Christ.
First of all, if you're watching this and you didn't know that we were saved, we saved, sanctified, Holy Ghost filled, fire baptized, running for Jesus all the days of our lives. We love the Lord. Yeah, we really do, and we know we can't do this without God. And I know every now and then we'll have little topics where it seems like is this a Christian podcast? What is this? What y'all doing? But we definitely mean Jesus all the way. Not enough men and women are willing to submit their desires and lifestyles under the authority of Christ. What does that mean?
To me, it means because he was careful to use the word authority. So it means more than just, I believe in Jesus. It means that everything that happens in your life, you take to God first. And you're living a Christ-like life.
Okay, lifestyle and desires under the authority of Christ. When I hear that, what I think about is how we all have our ideas of marriage when we enter into it. If you've listened to other podcasts, you've heard me and Sharonda talk about our ideas of what marriage was and how I've always looked at my grandparents and thought that that's what was supposed to happen. Like I thought, as we entered into this, Sharonda was supposed to turn into this magical being that could wash all of my clothes and cook all of my food and clean the house. and I just had to be there. like that was, and I got a rude awakening real quick. Really,
don't
really,
make it seem like I don't.
Really quick. She does a lot, honestly. She really does. But I had an expectation, like if those things weren't being done, that she wasn't doing her wifely duties. But I think that's what I think of when I hear, submit your desires and lifestyles under the authority of Christ. Because whose authority is your relationship based on? Marriage being a biblical institution, a lot of times we forget that marriage should line up with godly principles. It should line up under Christ's authority. So how do you, how is it that you have something that God ordains or something that God says, this is what I want you to do, and we're not lining up under his authority? I think that is an amazing way to kick off a set of 10 reasons, because it boils down to, if you didn't want to give any other reasons, that one right there would go across all of them. Because if you're submitting yourself under Christ's authority, you're doing it the way that God intends for you to do it. And if you do it that way, it's going to be blessed.
Definitely.
Doesn't mean it won't be no problems.
No, yeah.
But you
know what, ultimately, okay, let's go back to the Word of God. Let's pray about this.
Yes. You know how to fix the problems. You know what to do. It hurts, but if I hold on to God, it's troubling, but if I, trust in God and have his peace and understanding, we'll get through this together. That's a Christ, the Christ authority.
It's Christ-centered, yes.
Christ-centered relationship. So that's an awesome way to kick it off. What else you think?
Oh.
You want to keep going?
Yeah.
We can go to the next one. I just wanted to make sure you didn't have anything else.
I didn't.
Okay. I just think it's awesome. And if you guys think of anything that you want to add to this, or you don't agree with some of it, please.
Yeah, comment
so we can
inbox us.
Yeah, so we can continue the conversation on that.
Okay, so number 2 is too many pictures of quote-unquote perfect marriages, not enough close proximity to examples of the reality of marriage.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole reason we wanted to do this podcast, is because we didn't really have a lot of transparent marriages around us. And so we just wanted to be transparent about things that we've learned and experienced and noticed in our relationship. So, yeah, I agree. It's like when you look at and especially in the church. So it's a Christian person, it's a Christian post. So, in the church especially, and I guess, like our parents and grandparents' generations and great-grandparents, if you were blessed to know them, you didn't really know all of their arguments and indiscretions. You just kind of, like, as an adult are, maybe late teen years, early adult years, starting to really understand exactly everything that was going on. And even then, unless they're trying to tell you, you still don't really know the fullness of what was happening and how they dealt with it and how they handled it. And nowadays, it's just too many people that are, I'm in a wife group. I told you guys that. And even today, this lady was like, her husband is controlling and always wants to know where she's going, and they're coming up on their first year anniversary, and she was like, is this grounds for divorce? And I was like, good Lord, like, she's automatically just saying this grounds for divorce. And it
escalated.
And people in the comments like, it's not grounds for divorce, but you all do need to communicate about it. And this one lady was just going to town like, don't let anybody tell you the first year is the hardest. Marriage isn't hard. It shouldn't be hard. No. Should marriage be hard? No. But it is work. I know we don't like that word, but you have to work at it, just like you have to work at yourself, and constantly reevaluate yourself. And so I just wish more people were transparent about how their marriage relationship works. Not that you have to give us all the nitty gritty, but you want to be realistic when you're counseling other married couples.
Yeah, and this is really evident in the church, because you see a facade. You see, oh, here come Bishop with his wife. Oh, here come superintendent such and such, or pastor so and so, and look at the first. Look how happy they look. They outfits match all, and look, they children's outfits match. They must be happily married, and we create this whole facade of what marriage looks like, with a biblical marriage or what a Christian marriage looks like. And I want that. I want that. Look at that. That's amazing. Wow. And then we glorify it, and we push people into it because, a good Christian marriage is good. You're single, it's not good for a man to be single. You need to find you a woman, or you need to position yourself, woman, to be found by this man. And we put all this pressure on, pushing these godly relationships and godly marriages. So it's almost as if that's the goal, is marriage, and having a perfect marriage, a good Christian, sparkly, wonderful
Proverbs 31
marriage. Yeah, and when you do that, you just create these unrealistic expectations when it comes to marriage. So you have people like that girl you was talking about in that group, where it's like, ooh, do I push the divorce button now, or do I let something else happen? Then I push the divorce button. And I think that a lot of the generation, here we go with the generational talk, but a lot of this generation that's coming up, we weak. I ain't gonna say y'all weak, because y'all don't want to go through nothing. You don't want no issues, no problems, or nothing. And that's the type of, the social media age, where if you don't like something, you just type about how you don't like it and how it shouldn't happen, and it better not happen to you. Me too, and this and that and the other. Then all of a sudden you want to fight, and you want to put up this big old, and it's a terrible time that we're living in, where we think we're not supposed to go through stuff, and all of that stems, well, for me, all of that stems from growing up and seeing a facade of what marriage is. And of course, when you're a child, your parents and your grandparents told you, stay in a child's place, stay out my mouth, get in the other room while we talking. You know how they did, because you wasn't supposed to be in a business. So you didn't know when folks was arguing. You didn't know when Uncle Peter cheated on Aunt Sylvia or whoever. And if y'all got a married couple named Peter and Sylvia, I'm not talking about them. Don't y'all get sensitive. They put y'all on the show. No, we wasn't. We don't know who you are.
We're just making it up.
But you weren't allowed to really be a part, to be privy to any of that stuff that was going on. It was swept under the rug. It was hidden from you. If you go back another generation, that generation just took everything. Like, Harold out there with his third family. He should be home any minute. Let me make sure these biscuits done.
Not the third one.
I'm telling you. And then she was still doing her wifely duty. She was still treating him. When he came home, she treated him like he ain't have 2 or 3 other families out there. Like, that was just the way things were handled back then. And I think we get this whole perspective where it's like,
well, that's not gonna be me.
Right. That's not how I'm finna act. So I'm finna, he want me to be here when he wants divorce, and you pushing the divorce button. But you gotta find there's a mid-range, a middle ground in there, where you have to understand that you do go through stuff when you're married. And if it's hard for you, it's hard. If it's easy, it's easy. It just ain't got hard yet. It just ain't got hard yet. It's easy for whoever that was. It's easy right now, but you're gonna have some hard. And I would say the first 5 years is
there were quite a few women, and I know it's kind of the same thing though, but there were quite a few women that were like, oh yeah, the first 1 to 5 years, somewhere in there, it's going to be hard, because especially if you've never lived with anybody else, or especially if you've been living alone for a while and now you're living together. And even another podcast I listened to, they had a listener letter, and it was a similar thing in the listener letter. Like, why does he always want to know where I am? And why is he always trying to look at my stuff? And it was kind of like, well, they may not think they're intruding. They may just think this is a part of being married. But you don't know that if you don't sit down and discuss it and have a good communication session about it, instead of an argument where you're just yelling and then you're like, well, you know what? I want a divorce. And please, I threw divorce around. Corey didn't. I threw divorce around. Because for me it was arguments. So if we got in too many arguments, it was just like, well, this isn't working. But I didn't have enough healthy pictures of marriage around me where I saw that people got into arguments and could still love each other and make up and move on and actually resolve whatever the argument was about instead of just being angry with each other all the time.
So let's just say that, so you all know, arguments are normal.
Yeah.
Arguments are normal. If you're not arguing, I would be concerned. No, seriously. If you're not arguing, because if you living with somebody and you see them every day, all the time, you just can't get away from them, they always there, something is going to get on your nerves. It's just that simple. If you ain't found it yet, you're going to find it. Something going to get on your nerves about that person. And you just
oh my god,
and that's what that first 5 years is. It's something that's getting on. You sitting there trying to figure out. You finding out new things about the person.
They put the toilet paper under, and I need it over.
And I'm telling you, gonna look up. I didn't know that this bothered me this much. I don't know if I could do this. Like you go.
They squeezing the toothpaste from the middle, and I squeeze it from the bottom.
You see, and you think, watch. I'm telling you. Little stuff like that, you're going to notice something. Why she smack her lips like that after she bite into the chicken? Did she always do that? Oh, she did it again. Oh, I don't like that. Is she going to do that every time we eat? Can we not eat chicken no more? So it's either get divorced or no more chicken. And I like chickens. What we gonna do? Like,
why it always take 3 hours when you go to the beauty salon?
You see, that's a.
Are you really just at the beauty salon? Put your share location on your phone.
Where the divorce button? You want to know where I'm at? Boy, I tell you what. This is real talk. Before we go to the next one, if you have any authority at your church whatsoever. Please make sure, if you have a marriage ministry, first of all, if you don't, get one, create one, and make sure that you are being real about what marriage looks like.
Definitely.
Don't throw no Proverbs 31 scriptures up on the screen. Don't talk about Boaz. Don't do none of that stuff. Because there really ain't a whole lot of good examples of marriage in the Bible, to be honest with you. There's a whole lot of what not to do. David had 7, 8, 9, 10.
Oh, God.
Solomon had 12, 13, 14. Like, it's just not, it's not many. Okay, anyway. But make sure. Y'all, do they know? I don't think people understand. I'm sorry. It's a hot topic with me. Because I don't think people know how serious it is and how much y'all messing folks up. Do you know the divorce rate among Christians is just as much, if not higher, than that of
true.
People in the world? And marriage is a biblical institution.
That is true. Okay, number 3.
I ain't finished. I'm playing.
Number 3, too many people place enormous value on things that have nothing to do with a God-glorifying, healthy, sustainable marriage.
Too many people do it.
Place enormous value on things that have nothing to do with a God-glorifying, healthy, sustainable marriage.
Let's name some of them things. What you think?
What other people think?
Money.
Well, yeah.
Money.
But money can be a big issue in any marriage.
Right, but is money necessary to have a God-glorifying, healthy, sustainable marriage? No, you could be broke as a joke and happy. I'm sure some crackheads ain't got no house out there that are living their best life. They probably got the best marriage ever.
I don't think they do.
I'm telling you, they skip down the street.
I don't think they do.
Right now.
I don't think they do.
I promise they are. And they sing it all on my life.
Oh my gosh.
A perfect and night. That was a smoke. That was a. Do they still? Is that how you
stop.
do? Do you still do drugs like that?
Do I do drugs?
No, not the. Not you.
Oh my gosh.
Personally,
help the people.
But is that how they do it? I've never.
You just said, do you still do drugs like that?
No, I didn't mean. Listen, my wife does not do them type of drugs.
Any drugs?
I ain't gonna say.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, I don't know how people do drugs today, but all I'm saying is, I don't think it's that far fetched that 2 crackheads are happier than people in the church. Mm-hmm. I think in the church we put a lot of. I've done that. Mm-hmm. You put a lot of value on what other people think, what they see, what they notice, what you have, and so yeah, money can come into that comparison.
Can I ask something?
Go ahead.
Y'all stop putting so much pressure on marriages that don't have children.
Yeah, that's another one too.
Leave them folks alone.
That's another one too.
God.
How old you are when you get married?
Yes.
Yeah.
None of that has anything to do.
Too young, too old.
Did you know that God could purpose you to get married to someone and not have any children? Surprise! Mm-hmm. Like, it's not. Okay, the picket fence, the boy and the girl, the boy older than the girl, the dog that looks like Obama and them dog, 2 vehicles, nice manicured 2-story house, good job, 401k. That's not everybody's walk. So that should not be the cookie cutter example of what a good marriage looks like. Quit trying to put people in the box. Guess who I'm finna bring up? And I'm gonna be quiet. Guess who I'm finna bring up?
Oh my goodness.
Guess.
I don't know.
Hosea.
Okay. He always talk about Hosea being with the hoe.
Because I think it's an amazing example of how
well, that wasn't a glorifying, healthy, sustainable marriage.
Well, we don't. Hosea, he may have been happy. He may,
I don't think he was happy having to find his wife all the time.
No, was you out there doing what you did the other night? You'll never do that to me.
Oh my God!
You think he was doing that kind of stuff? You think Hosea was out there like that?
Oh my God!
You think?
Okay.
You gonna be out here. If you fold the streets, it's some stuff you keep in the house.
Oh my God!
That move is for me. You think he was doing that kind of stuff?
But actually, I'm glad you are mentioning that because sex could be a part of that too. Because like, how many posts do you see where people are like, "Oh, you shouldn't do that. That's you're defiling the marriage bed," and it's kind of like it should be between the husband and wife.
What you talking about?
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mm-mm.
Okay, like how people want to say like certain positions or certain things that you do in the bedroom or wherever you're doing it is it's not godlike, and it's kind of like, why are you telling people what they can and can't? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, you're right.
I don't think Corey was prepared for me to say anything
you're
like
right.
that.
No, I was. That's normally stuff I be saying, but I guess you're trying to step out. Okay, don't step out in the face.
But that could be something else.
I think it is something else. I think some stuff just ain't our business. The undefiled scripture or whatever. Pray and fast. Let it mean to you what it means to you. If you want to do the do in your bedroom the way you want to do the do in your bedroom, and you I don't know.
Do you remember that video of Serena Jakes when she was standing behind Cora and Sarah, and she was like, "Yeah, I mean the marriage bed is undefiled, and the kitchen table and the shower." Yeah, she was clowning. And I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
Nobody want a picture.
You and Bishop.
Get ready. So nobody want to. I'm telling you, that is. You're right. Because we try to dress up every marriage the way that we think a Christian marriage should be dressed up. Mm-hmm. And what's healthy in God's eyes is what matters. What works for you is what matters. And everybody's relationship is going to be different. Everybody's marriage is going to be different. And I think it's very important not to place enormous value.
Yes, and that's why I say it's honestly comparison, because at the end of the day, you're probably comparing your marriage to somebody else's, and you want what you think they have, and you don't even know if that's what God has for you and your spouse.
Right? Do they keep God first?
Yeah, and you'll find out what your purpose is as a couple. Yeah. So, okay, number 4. Satan hates God's idea of marriage / family. There is a spiritual agenda against godly marriage. I totally 1,000 trillion million billion agree with that statement.
Yep.
I mean, it's just there are so many attacks against marriages and families. And when I say attacks, I mean like we can't I mean there's just so much where like people can't get along. Like I said today, like that lady thought like the next step was divorce. Like she wasn't like, help me out ladies, how can I tell my husband he's been a little too controlling? That wasn't her question. Her question was, should I go ahead and end this right now? So it's like, where are your fruits of the spirit? Where's your patience and your love?
Boom. That's it right there. Because when you talk about the spirit, when you talk about, the Holy Spirit, and you talk about the spiritual warfare, spiritual agenda that's against godly marriage, you have to talk about things of the spirit. And when we are supposed to be filled with the Holy Spirit, you're filled with those things. That you have those attributes or those signs that you have the filling of the Spirit, which is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness. You bear those fruits, and those fruits have to be evident in your marriage. But when we see examples in every form of media and of dudes stepping out, so now she burning up clothes. How many times have you seen a woman watch Waiting to Excel and just feel her help all of a sudden? Like it's like you can't wait till he mess up, because I'm gonna do exactly what I'm putting all the clothes in the tub, I'm setting them on fire. Like we see all these things, and it's like not that we desire to be in those situations, but it's like you're prepping yourself on how to deal with certain situations if and when they arise, instead of having a godly, foundation and dealing with them the way that you should deal with them. Yeah. The enemy does not like to see resolution.
Definitely.
He does not like to see something that was bad turn good. He does not like to see, a marriage that's on the verge of divorce. He don't like to see God come in and fix that thing. But when you understand that there's an agenda, then you understand that I have to fight this. Why? Why is it? Man, we shouldn't have did this one. We should have waited till the next one. Because think about it. Think about what a godly marriage does, and how, when you are in a godly marriage, and if the children are there too, then you're raising children the way that God intended for them to be raised. When you're raising godly children, those children can then go and affect other people. And then you're changing generations. You're changing neighborhoods. You're changing workplaces. You're changing schools. You're changing churches. You're changing all kinds of stuff. And so the foundation of that thing, the way the enemy can stop that, is by getting into your marriage and breaking up homes and creating children that are disgruntled and confused and messed up because of different things that have happened in the marriage, or that they've seen happen with their families. So you got to understand that's so powerful. That is so powerful. What's this? Does this brother take offerings?
I'm sure he will. Okay. Number 5.
Wow, we done. That's it. We got to do another one. We got to come back.
Oh, God.
Our time is up, y'all.
Well, These are good, you guys.
We gonna do the rest of these. We're gonna keep going. We'll be back next week with the rest of them. We want you to go to Words by Ezekiel
on Instagram.
Please follow this brother. He dropped a bomb when he did these here, and we want to keep going with them. Is that cool?
That's fine.
I can't do
I thought
nothing.
we were gonna go into our next little series we talked about, but we can finish this
next week.
We can finish these.
We're not ready to do that yet, are we?
Okay.
We need a little more preparation, don't we?
Okay.
She's saying, okay, watch when we get off. I'm going to keep the camera rolling, and I'm going to pretend like I turned it off. And you're going to see her doing all this. And pointing, I told you what we was going to do.
That's if you're watching, and no, you won't see it. Okay, so.
She ain't going to push that divorce button.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us for episode 15. Episode 15.
Is it 15?
Of Until Forever podcast. Yeah. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Until Forever podcast. And if you are listening or watching, please rate and subscribe. We'd love a share. If you are posting anything on social media, check us out. We have things that we post throughout the week, and
we do.
We appreciate you following us. Get in contact with us through comments or inboxes. Have a good week.
And then what? What happens next?
We end the show.
Okay. We'll count to 3, and we're going to wave and say bye.
Oh, my gosh.
You ready?
Yeah. I'm sorry, you guys. I really tried. Everybody noticed that 1 week you just end it regular, right?
Nobody noticed that.
They did.
They name one person that noticed. What'd they say?
They said, I noticed how you guys end it regularly.
Who?
I don't want to say their names.
Why? They got warrants? It's people after them? You don't have to say it. All right. We gonna end. See y'all later.
Bye.